Fi and Dromai were really shaking up the meta when they are coming out in the Uprising. But now, with the reveal of Fang Drakai of Blades and Cindra Drakai of Retribution, we're having two very different draconic heroes that are coming to the metagame in 2025. And with these hero abilities, I'm really interested in talking about fealty tokens because both heroes are actually utilizing fealty a lot more than I thought, and both heroes actually share the same ability in the first line of the hero effect that says whenever you hit a marked hero, create a fealty token. So not only fealty tokens will play a huge role in the hunted, but also for Fang and Cindra both having these abilities embedded in their hero text. So fealty is the first part of it, right? Fealty is the new token, the draconic token aura that is being played in the hunted. But also marked is one of the key new abilities that we need to look at when speculating on how Fang and Cindra will shake up the meta game. And yet we don't know that much about marked, only the lore side of it, right? And a few cards that we know that can make the opponent's hero a marked hero. And one of those is Long Whisker Loyalty, which says specifically for each draconic chainlink you control, choose one. And then the last line of effect is that mark effect, which says the next time target dagger hits a hero this turn, mark them. And that is only a way for Fang to utilize the mark ability. But also we have Proclaim Vengeance, which is a draconic instance. So both heroes can actually utilizing this card to mark your opponent, and it is a pretty not that good of a card in the first look, but maybe it gets much better when you're thinking about that you're getting fealty tokens when attacking your marked heroes, maybe setting up and then just leaving it out. But I'm not really sure yet how good this ability will be, but definitely you need to look at it because also both heroes are utilizing daggers, right? And so when looking at the classic constructed side of things, it is very interesting to speculate on how much, these daggers will impact the meta game, because both heroes actually wanting to play around daggers. And Fang specifically says if you control 3 or more fealty tokens, your dagger attacks cost you 1 less to activate. And it is not only in this turn, it's just as long as you have the 3 fealty tokens on the board. And Cindra says as long as you are having 2 draconic daggers in your graveyard and no daggers equipped, you can equip those back, but up to. So also if you have only 1 in your graveyard, this ability works too. And it is kind of like with Fi, right? Where as your chainlink progresses to grow, this ability just becomes much better. But like I said, we don't really know yet how the draconic daggers will look like, even though we know that we don't have that many draconic daggers yet. Actually, we don't have a single draconic dagger yet, so we will get at least 2, I guess, in the next set, maybe more. But definitely, when looking at classic constructed here, it is, legal to play up to 3 copies of each unique card. And also, remember in Flesh and Blood, it's the card pool that we are talking about and not the side deck and the main deck like in a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So that really means that the inventory is private, and that means that your opponent only knows what kind of daggers are on the board and not really what kind of daggers you have in your inventory and maybe bringing in the game, when those daggers are destroyed. But definitely, when looking at the current dagger pool, we have different options for Ninja, of course, everyone knows that, right? Harmonized Kodachi and Zephyr Needle. But for Warrior, we only have the Quicksilver dagger. But from looking at all the other daggers that are available, we already know that LSS gives out different ways to interact with daggers in Assassin. So I wouldn't really be that upset to see maybe more than 2 draconic daggers in the next set, or maybe in the set after the 100 a new draconic dagger, but that is just speculation now. Looking at fealty here, though, one thing that we know for sure is that it can have a big impact on the game by itself. Not only because, yeah, you can utilize it in Fang to make your daggers cost less, but also because you can play out the fealty token actually. But it is a question of how many fealty tokens you can create during the game, and then if you're able to have them stick around, or if you actually want them to stick around, or if you want to utilize them. And out of the Dragon Blood here, a new ninja action attack really gives me the vibes of that you want to play out your fealty tokens in Cindra much more often than you want it in Fang, because yeah, out of the Dragon Blood has the potential to basically make your attacks that are draconic or even other draconic cards, not really attacks, cost less. And when looking at cards with Cindra, of course, there are, inherent to the draconic class, cards that you maybe want to get out for cheaper, but also you could make non-draconic cards, generic cards, or only ninja cards into draconic cards, just like disruptive attacks like the weakest link, Censor, Command and Conquer, Erase Phase, and so on. But also there is a way to make cards like Truce or This Rounds on Me into a draconic card and then play out those cards at the end of your chain for less. And that's a really interesting interaction if I think about it, that you're really having a versatile ability here, when having fealty tokens on the board, and then also the ability to utilize cards like Art of the Dragon Blood and all of those cards that we don't know about yet. But let me know what you think about those current cards available to us to speculate on. Definitely though, a card that came to my mind is Razor Reflex, because when I'm thinking about it, it is a really tricky situation when you can play Razor Reflex in both of Cindra and Fang, and you have to worry about it. That's quite interesting, right? And also with Cindra specifically, when you're having a turn with Art of the Dragon Blood and a fealty token on the board, basically you could play out Razor Reflex for free if you make it draconic. And it's a tricky situation, right? We all know that with our pummel games. But let's come to the ninja dagger pool that we have at the moment. And I think looking at this, it's very interesting. Not only that we have 2 daggers available for Cindra to switch out with Concealed Blade, or even start the game with one of these. I don't know really yet. I don't think you want to start the game with one of these, but maybe you want to switch them in between to get maybe a little bit of a longer chain. But definitely when looking at cards that are available to us at the moment, Bleed Out was a card that was utilized before in the World Championship in Barcelona. I think this is a good way, to make a wider chain. It is not draconic, but you could make it draconic, with brand with Cinderclaw or fealty token, but definitely cards that are a little bit, they make more sense now is a card like Blood Runs Deep, which is a dragon. It's a draconic, not a dragon, ninja attack, and it costs 2, but it costs 1 less to play for each draconic chain link you control, and when this attacks a hero, each dagger you control deals 1 damage to them, and then the daggers are destroyed. So at least if they are if they dealt damage and then they hit. But this card suddenly becomes very interesting and much more utilizable, right? When looking at Cindra's hero ability. But let's come to a card called Flick Knife, and you all had that on the radar, right? But now it looks much stronger that we know the hero effects, and it is also making me really nervous when I think about it. I have to worry about all those daggers flying around in the next meta game, and I really think that it will shake up the game, and also the mind twist that you need to go through when playing Flesh and Blood in the next year. Also, Knives Out, of course, is a card of blue that blocks for 3 and gives your daggers +1 as an attack reaction. Pretty interesting now, that we didn't really have that with fire, right? We didn't really need to worry about those attack reactions, but now we're having multiple attack reactions and options to play with fealty that it makes me much more excited about playing Cindra in the future. I'm not too sure about Fang, but let's keep going with the Cindra cards. So Hurl, of course, is a card that came out in Outsiders, but now also makes me nervous just thinking about having to vary this card running around all the time in the meta. Yeah, it is so interesting, guys. Really, I think it's a new way. I'm really happy that Cindra is a really different Draconic Ninja compared to Fi, but also I'm very interested to see if we are really running all of these different options or if the new pool of cards that we are getting is much more utilizable than Stab Wound, for example. But definitely Stab Wound, I think, is a card that we could see being played in Cindra alongside the Concealed Blade. Of course, I think this is a safe bet to make that we want to play this card. But also when looking at Fang now, I am not too sure actually if we are getting that much outcome out of his hero ability when we need those 3 fealty tokens all around the game, because I'm not really sure how many fealty tokens we will create yet. Though what I'm really sure about is that the Draconic Ninja pool is looking much bigger, of course, than the Warrior Dagger pool that we are having, because of course there are some cards that we knew are being viable, like Puncture or Precision Point from the Warrior decks that were running around in the meta. But we were having Slice and Dice, of course, which can be a good option here to play alongside our new cards like Whisker Loyalty. Though I want to look at those Draconic, also, it's not a Draconic card, sorry guys, at those new Warrior cards that we know from from the newly spoiled cards like Power Stance. And of course, it being a blue 0-cost 3 block makes it very interesting, but also that it gives your daggers attacks +1. And we are really wanting to attack a lot of times with our daggers with Fang, right? So this card, I think, is an auto include in the game. I'm not really too sure about agility stance here though, guys. Why would we want to make our daggers gain go again? Isn't Fang's daggers having go again inherently, so we need to give them go again? I'm not really too sure about this. I think this could be, I'm not too sure, guys. I don't think we need this card. Let me know what you think in the comments. Flurry Stance, though, I think is an auto include because you can attack an additional time with all of your daggers this turn, and that makes those turns could even be the power boost that Fang needs to win those games over. But keep in mind that we are having Jarl in the meta, so I'm not too sure, but let's see. Definitely what I'm sure about is that cards like Down But Not Out are getting really interesting for me to look at with these hero abilities evolving around fealty tokens, because Down But Not Out really gets better the more sure you can be that your opponent will have more tokens than you, and that you can utilize this card when it comes up. It makes it much more predictable to play, and also you can count on more on getting the effect of. So I really would like to see this card in the meta, actually. Also with fealty, this could be the counter interaction, right? We need some ways, if fealty is really broken in Cindra, to counter interact with cards like Ripple Away. But also I think we will see a new card in the Hunted that lets us counter interact with those tokens. But maybe I'm wrong on that, though. I think we need that if we see more tokens in the meta running around. But definitely, so far, if you like the video, also make sure to like the video as well. Though I want to talk about Fire Rising Rebellion here at the end of the video a second, because as you know, Fi is my most favorite Draconic hero until now, and I think he will stay like that. But I really hope to see more support for Fire Rising Rebellion in the set, because from the spoilers now I don't really see how Fi is getting a lot out of it, because it makes much more sense to play Cindra with the fealty interactions here. But I really hope that we are seeing more spoilers for Fi, guys. Really, LSS gives Fi something. Please give him something. Oh my goodness. He hasn't seen something for so long. Okay, so Let me know in the comments what you think about these spoilers so far. Do you think Fang and Cindra will shake up the matter a lot? Do you think Fang will stay down and Cindra will be the best draconic hero after we know what the hunted carpool will look like? And also, how do you think, the interaction with the marked ability will be like? I am not too sure about it yet, but we can speculate on that together here on the video. Also, if you want to see more videos about the hunter, definitely subscribe to the Fabled Academy. Also, I will be at the world premiere in Prague in January, so if you want to see videos from the event, I will definitely post them here on the channel. And if you want to support the Fabled Academy a little bit further, then I also have linked down the Patreon down in the description, and we also have YouTube memberships available. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today's video, and we see us in one of the next videos.